who do people have to even look at for a solid relationship?
Right.
Right? Who are you having that conversation with that are telling you fight for your marriage,
Yeah.
fight for your relationship,
Yeah.
fight for each other? Too often you don't hear leave that
Yeah.
leave her. I wouldn't stick there for that.
What the fuck is up? Back at it again with my special guest, the 25-year anniversary Hueys.
I like that. I like
Shout
that.
out to them. You introduce yourself.
I'm Robin Huey.
I'm Reggie Huey.
And these are the Hueys. And I'm Hollathetruth, as you all know already. First off, I want to give you guys your flowers. 25 years is crazy sounding to me because of where I'm at in life. But definitely congratulations on that. Y'all raised beautiful kids. They all, that I know of, are doing what they should be doing as young adults.
Yeah.
Younger adults, because we kind of old now. We turning into the new adults.
You guys are the new adults. Y'all the next generation. Y'all up.
Right.
Y'all on deck.
Yeah, so appreciate you guys for that. Shout out to you for getting your degree. What was that in?
Leadership. Master of Arts in Leadership.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
I know that took a toll on you to get there.
Oh, man.
Because, boy, school ain't easy for nobody.
No.
And then you take not just being in school, being a full-time employee, full-time manager, full-time grandma or nana, full-time wife, right?
Yeah.
And then she had three promotions
Yeah.
during that time at
Sheesh.
work, and bowling
Oh,
in a couple leagues. Like, my wife's a bad girl. She's a bad girl.
Check it out. Well, yeah, your flowers for that, because just school and work was enough for me.
Right. I'm already tired. Talking
Yeah. That's a good run.
Yeah.
So for you, because from what you say, you was that man back in the day. What kind of advice would you give somebody like me? Because I know you see how I am and how I operate. What advice would you give somebody like me that's seeking something for longevity but just don't know how to get?
I think the first thing you have to do is find your Zen place. I don't even know what that really means. But what I mean in saying it is what's going to give you balance. What spot in your life, like what is it that has you centered? And then expand upon that. So you got to get out of the living a dream, living a life. How many can I get without a wife? That sort of thing. And then figure out what's important to you within that. And I'll be honest, I had to get recentered, get out of the lifestyle I was living. And my center was God. And then kind of expel all the other stuff, get it away from me. And that what that did was that gave me space to find her. If I had been doing the things I had been doing previously, I wouldn't have had space for her. I would have met her and been full of bullshit, right? But I had space because there was a time that I had to just say, okay, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that, I'm not going there, y'all go to this place, I'm not going with you, that sort of thing. And with God, and then I had space, and that's what it is. Really, like, the defining piece is to define what it is for you that's going to give you that space.
Not to tell your story, but like right when you found peace, when you distanced yourself from all of the things, all your running around, we found each other like
shortly thereafter,
really
within months.
Yeah, within a few months. It was like you stepped away, took a step back, you found Christ, and then you found me.
Absolutely, absolutely. And not to be overly spiritual, but the foundation for me is God first, and then my wife, then my family. And in that order, there's not too much ability to fail because you have something to get back to guide yourself back to, someplace to be centered, right? When people center their relationships on each other, on sex, on whatever those things are fly by night, right? But if you don't have anything to be centered on, then it'll fail. It's doomed to fail if you don't have that.
The foundation.
Absolutely.
Well, that's good advice. I'll play this back and reiterate it to myself. Because this is where I've been mentally lately. It's like, damn, I want it, but do I want it?
Right.
I hadn't really been on a spiritual journey. Like I did a little something when Ramadan came up. Kind of, I prayed more, thought about it more. Not saying I'm any particular religion, but I'm trying to get there.
Right.
It's been a journey for myself. You took the measures, went to therapy. I want to get back into it. Yesterday, I really felt like I needed to talk to my therapist, and we usually talk on Mondays too. So, I don't know, Wednesdays. Anyways,
Well, that's
I'm
why
trying
you
to
didn't
get
talk
there.
to her yesterday. Or him.
Yeah. No, well, we had my job had ended the contract with the company, so but I still have her information. I'm just had to pay out of pocket because I think I need to talk to Miss Alina. But yeah, I just been mentally trying to wrap my head around it, and like I say all the time, it's not everybody's case, but given my history and what I've been accustomed to, I just can't see me only having sex with somebody for the next, say I live another 30 years. Just me in particular. We don't got to get into that. But that's just kind of, what my head's wrapped around. Not saying that it's something that shouldn't be frowned upon, but me, myself, I just can't see it. Like, it's not in the visionary for me. I just hope one day I can figure it out. Or find
Lots of
somebody
men that
help
I hear say that haven't found the person that just kind of knocks them off their feet, right? Like, I've heard so many say, like, one woman for the rest of my life? Nah. But then when you meet those men who have found their person, they like, yeah, one woman. Like, she got everything I need.
Right.
So that's you haven't met her.
Yeah, that's what I brought up with the last couple, the younger couple, the Alfreds. That maybe I just haven't met my person. Because I've talked to older men, at the bowling alley. I meet it's a lot of successful father figure men around. Because like I say, I didn't grow up with necessarily a father figure. So I look up to y'all
Appreciate that.
in particular. But just to see how y'all built what y'all got and get an understanding, get closer to y'all, get more understanding to what measures it took to get you where you are. I've talked to a lot of men and asked them, like, how did you know? And they say, when you know, you'll know.
Yeah, when you know, you know.
Yeah.
I agree. And I will add just a little bit of background. I was like, just different women meeting different women over and over and over again. And it wasn't, as my wife would say, it wasn't my jam.
I worship the devil.
I can't find a man that can satisfy me.
I'm not interested in a man unless he drives a BMW.
I'm into the group thing.
But that's the life I was in. And the kind of my last straw was a couple of like married women who were really into me.
Yeah, well, baby, I'm almost single. My husband's on death row.
And I didn't allow anything to happen. Got really, really, really close. And just was like, what the hell am I doing? Like, it's almost like I had an epiphany. Like, all of a sudden, like, bro, what are you doing? Like, all right, I'm out. And like, what's wrong with you? This ain't me. And then immediately, and it was just too many like scenarios that came back to back to back. And I'll tell just a really quick story. I'm at a club. We're at the Elks in Sacramento, right? North Sac. Dancing with this lady who looked like Faith Evans. We're dancing, we're having a good time, and she telling me, "Oh, you can come with me, come to my spot, blah 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 blah." I'm like, "Yes, Faith Evans, yeah, my husband locked up, and it's gonna be all good." I'm like, "Yeah, Faith Evans, that's the first thing, right?" Getting in the parking lot, I'm in my car and I'm following her, and I had that, "What are you doing?" And I just turned. She went straight. I went to my family's house. It was like, boy, what are you doing? Like, so it was I needed to get out of that element that kept me moving in a way that wasn't reasonable. So
I just realized that you think Faith Evans is cute.
ha! She was back when.
She's cute.
Till you realize she was a little nasty.
Anyways, you take a while.
So, how old were you when this, like, when that phase of your life, that epiphany happened?
Probably 23.
God damn.
Yeah, probably 23. But I already had 3 kids.
Oh. Yeah, it wasn't there.
So my path was a little accelerated.
Got it. Yeah, okay. I should say 23. God damn.
Yeah.
When you look back on that, it's like, we babies.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah, 23 is
Yeah, it's very young.
10 years, 12 years older than that. And still ain't had that epiphany.
Yeah.
I'm having moments. But yeah, not that real, just like you said, probably just not the one to sweep me off my feet yet. I've had the 80% though. You know how you say you're only getting 80% of somebody. I've had the 80%. One I was too young to be receptive to it.
Right.
And the other one just bad timing.
Yeah.
The crossing pattern just didn't make sense, and then merging into something new after jumping out of something. Just,
Right.
I wouldn't allow myself to do it.
Yeah.
Because
No,
that's how I got in the situation in the first place.
The crazy part about that story that I didn't say at the very end, when I left to go to my family's house, I stopped in the car and was listening to the radio, and Amen came on by Howard Hewitt. And it's a spiritual song, and it's a song that I loved. But the moment I sat still, that song came on. A week later, I went to church. So, for the first time since I was like 7 years old, something like that.
Y'all still go to church?
No, we
No.
haven't been to church since right before the pandemic.
Yeah.
But the spirituality's still there.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily need
Our
to go
prayer
to
life
church.
is still there.
100%. Yeah.
Y'all pray together.
Absolutely.
together.
Absolutely.
A family that prays together stays together.
Amen.
25 years and counting.
Absolutely.
So jumping back on course, just like some history of y'all, where you grew up.
So now I say I'm from the Bay Area because I spent the first chunk of my life between Berkeley and Oakland, and the middle part of my life in San Pablo, then
And
back
Oakland.
and in Oakland, and then back to Oakland. So I've been kind of bouncing between those 2 areas, and then we've been in Pittsburgh for the last 27 years.
Since 98.
Since 98, yeah. So yeah, 27 years. So I'm from the Bay Area, but I went to school in Berkeley and in San Pablo and El Cerrito.
El Cerrito High. So I'm from Richmond, born at Richmond Hospital, graduated from Richmond High. That's all I got.
So Richmond. So Richmond.
That's all I got.
Was you there with Coach Carter? Or he way older than you?
Nah, he was there when I was, I think, a junior, maybe a senior. I think probably a junior. And I only had one interaction with him. I didn't care for him much at all.
Was that after they won the championship?
I want to say he was an assistant coach then. And I just remember I had a little music background. That's neither here nor there, but I was considering trying out for the basketball team. And then Richmond High has this back door to the gym. And I was standing by that to go in. And he just had this weird look and response to me. And in my mind at that time, like, bro, who's you? You an assistant to the assistant to the assistant. Like, who was you? But that was my interaction with him. So
I didn't realize that was the reason why you didn't.
yeah, I haven't seen the movie.
I know you didn't see the movie.
ain't
You
seen the
refused to
movie.
see
I haven't
it.
seen
He
the movie.
refused to see it. He was like, I ain't watching that movie.
Right.
Why? Like that's a part of your culture at
It's
that
his
point.
school.
Yeah, like exactly.
So I've seen 5 minutes of the movie, and then Richmond High colors are red, white, and blue. And the colors aren't even right.
Burgundy.
Like nothing about it seemed authentic to me, and that's just me. That's just me.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I drove by Richmond High, and I was like, I see why these niggas are bad. Right on the strip of everything. I was like, if my school was right here, well, actually, my high school was on the strip, the longest street in the U.S., maybe the world, Colfax. in Denver. My school is right there on that, but we had a very vast majority of kids there.
I think the longest street is San Pablo Avenue.
In the world? I mean, in California.
San Pablo goes from wherever it goes all the way to
Crockett.
It's pretty long, several cities.
Facts.
I like to look it up.
Google it, baby.
I ain't gonna Google it.
Go ahead, Google it. I know. I grew up in Denver. I know. That's something we take pride in. But yeah, like I said, I see why them kids didn't want to go to school. For what? Yeah. It's like literally right there in the middle.
The thing is, Richmond High was kind of like a jewel at one point because it was the new school. They had built it like when your dad.
When my dad was in high school, they sent kids to a different campus and built up that school. I think it might have to do with seismic upgrades or something like that, but I don't know. So that's where we're from: Oakland, Richmond, Berkeley, El Cerrito, Richmond High. Now we're in Pittsburgh for over half our lives we've been in Pittsburgh now. But I'm from Richmond. Just make sure that's I live in Pittsburgh. Like make sure it's in there because people try to be like, oh, you from bruh.
You from Pittsburgh at this point?
Man, don't play me. I'll walk out. I love being in this city. And the people I've met. However, I'll walk out. So so our story is interesting. I mean, it's interesting to us. Is we met at work. So in '97, we both were temps at this law firm, Baker McKenzie in San Francisco. And at the time, they claimed that they were the largest law firm in the world. That's neither here nor there, but that's where we were. And my job had me walking around the office quite a bit. I was the office clerk. She was the legal secretary. And we would see each other, say hi and bye and say hi. And we have, conversation or whatever. And we had this kind of, what would you call it? Like a connection. We had a connection, yeah. And we both were involved with other people or other situations during that time, and so neither of us were available. I was more into. That's when I first started going to church. I was more into Christ at that time, and that's where my focus was. You want to tell your situation or? No. So anyway, she had a situation. I'll just put it that way. And then a few months later, so this is probably October?
We met in October.
October of 97. Come March of 98, she's single. I'm single. We end up having a coworker who had a band, and they were playing at Antlers in Pinole. Invited all the coworkers to come. We went. Actually, twice. First time I went, she didn't go. The second time, I went and she was there. So prior to that, people around the office were like, she has a hots for you, Reggie. Reggie has a hots for you. That's what they were saying. It was going back and forth saying it. They weren't saying it to us.
So childish when you look back at that. They were so immature. These was old people.
Right.
We were kids.
We were kids. They weren't kids.
That's why
they're in their 40s and stuff, acting like that. Like now that I think about it, and but we did. We had a connection. Yeah. One of the first things that I said to her, I looked at her because she looked really, really familiar. I'm like, don't I know you from somewhere? She's like, no. Like, she wasn't rude or anything, but she definitely made it apparent that I don't know you. So come to find out, after we talked for a while, we were next door neighbors. So when we were
So he knew me.
So when we were both like 21, 22, we lived in the same apartment complex with one apartment in between us. So I stayed with my oldest daughter's mom, and she stayed with her baby daddy. I'll just say it that way. Mm-hmm. And there was one apartment in between us, but we never really interacted. Like, she had her life, I had my life. We were passing, just neighbors. And then after talking more, we went to the same middle school.
Oh wow!
So
cosmic.
Yeah, it was crazy. So my middle school, when I was in the 7th grade, closed. So I had to go to Helms in San Pablo. That was her middle school. So we didn't know each other there either. But come to find out, probably we figured this out like 15 years later, that we had the same first period PE class, right? But I'm from the other side of the track, so to speak. So we just didn't have that connection. So then, after all this time, we realized, oh, yeah, I do know you. Oh, and now we realize we also know some of the same people. Like people see Reggie, Robin, like they see us and they see us together. Like, wait, what happened? What happened there? Yeah, so that's our story. Like we've always been put in positions to be near each other. So I think it's like without the negativity, we're like Hancock.
I run. He's always there. He finds me. It's physics.
We're not toxic. We can be together, but it's like Hancock, where we're built to be with each other.
Yeah, that was the first thing on my mind.
Yeah.
I'm not zapping the strength.
Right.
I was about to bring it up.
Right. She can though.
Oh boy.
Oh, sorry.
So, how was y'all's relationship with y'all's parents? Like, did you come from?
We both come from 2-parent households.
Yes.
Both of our parents got married kind of young.
Yeah.
Neither set of parents were super encouraging when it came to marriage.
No, not at all. Not
That
at
was-
all.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting because, and again, we grew up in 2-parent households, but I think that they didn't have the same relationship. They didn't relate to each other
Right.
in like the way we relate to each other. And
Right.
so they, if you ask them at that time,
For sure. Mm-hmm.
would you get married again? Would you ever do this again? They would all say no. But today, if you ask them,
Right.
they would be like, absolutely.
And rest in peace
Yeah,
to
my dad
father-in-law.
just passed away. So
And so to piggyback on that, my father-in-law was encouraging.
yeah, he was very.
He was encouraging. He paid the $150 or whatever it was for our wedding. We eloped.
Yeah.
And no one else was really encouraging. We had her godmother was encouraging, but not until we had a conversation. And I just remember we talked for a couple hours, because they never had a conversation with me. And to their, give them a little credit. Here I am with 3 daughters. Here she is with 2 sons.
And
Here we are,
23.
23 and 24 years old. We started dating in March.
April.
Well, we had to date, sort of, in March. We became a couple in April. Moved in together in August with 5 kids.
Jumping.
With
Y'all
5
was
kids.
Here for it.
Right?
Yeah.
So we moved in together with 5 kids. And I'm going to tell you, if my kids did that, I'd be like, what's wrong with y'all?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Didn't I raise you better than that? So
That's what they were thinking. They were like, what?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. He got 3 daughters? Both of our families were saying that. So my family is like, he got 3 kids. And his family is like, she got 2 sons. What are y'all doing? Like, y'all are kids. Y'all are babies.
Right.
And, when I think back and I'm like in the grocery store with all 5 of those kids and they ranged in age between when we all moved in together, 1 and 6.
So 1, 2, 3, 4,
5 and 6.
and 6.
Yeah, think about it, time of year. And I was 25. I looked like a baby with all these babies, all the kids.
Right.
So many kids in the basket.
Yeah.
One in the basket, one one sitting in the leg part, one inside the basket, and the other one's holding on to the side of the basket, right?
Yeah.
And so, I get that they were a little discouraged.
Yeah.
Right. But I will tell you,
They were nervous.
They were
like,
nervous.
What are they doing? Yeah.
100%. But I will tell you, I said this before I put God first. Before we started dating, we would commute together. So I'm gonna tell you.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Fine, I'll tell you later. But we would commute together. And one day, we're coming, I'm figuring my life out, and I just prayed. I'm like, God, is this the woman you have for me? And we were sitting on bar together. She was getting off going to her stop. And I had to ask. And everybody was like, no.
Even
The church I was in at the time was like, no. They were like, oh, the person you with needs to go to this church. I never heard that before, but that's what they said. And here we are 25 years later. So anyone who, thought something against our marriage, well, nanny.
Yeah, they were wrong.
They were wrong 25 years later.
Did you get that sign you were looking for? You said you asked God.
I did. I'm big on ask and wait. We kind of differ in that way a little bit. I'm more like ask and wait. She was like asking, where is it? Right. And so I did. And the sign was when shortly thereafter we went to this event. And you want to tell that story or no?
What event you talking about?
What the first date, first kiss.
Well, I was thinking that you were going to say something more like when we were on BART, you asked
Well,
God
no,
to stupid proof it for you.
No, so that is true. But before that, so let me backtrack. Usually when I pray for something, I ask God to stupid proof it. Like, take me out of it. Make that decision not something that I chose to do. Basically, let it happen to me, as opposed to me figuring it out and trying to make it happen. Let it happen to me. And so what happened was we go on this to see this band play. And we're sitting down, we're having a good time, we're talking and whatever. And it's time to leave.
Yeah.
And I walk her to her car.
And so for the week leading up to that, though, so we did have a crush on each other. We both were digging each other, but we hadn't said anything to each other.
Right.
We kind of flirted around the office, but nothing too major. No. It wasn't like any big like declarations or anything like that. But I had been telling my girlfriend, I was like, I'm gonna kiss him this week when we get to this place. And I went and bought some Pear Glacé lip gloss from Victoria's Secret because it tastes good. And I was like, I'm gonna kiss him with this lip gloss. And so he walked me to my car, and I wanted to be I'm so dramatic. Like I was gonna do like this big dramatic kiss. And so he walked.
Mind you, we're not even dating.
No, we're not dating. But like he walked me to my car, and then he walks away, and I was like, damn it, I missed my chance. But I was like, hey, come back. And he was like, okay. You probably knew I was about to do something.
I had no idea.
You knew something.
Let me tell you,
he walked back over like, yes.
My digression is I was always a stupid dude in the club. Girl looking at you, I'd be like, who's she looking at?
Anyway.
That was me.
Well, so he comes back, and I grab him by his jacket and just like pull him into this, what I expected to be like this passionate kiss. But instead I slammed his head into the top of the car.
And our lips probably
and
touched.
And he kind of like fell into my lips.
Right. Like our lips kind of barely touched.
And he was like, thank you.
Like, I know what to do. I know what to do.
I was horrified.
Oh,
I thought about it the
hilarious.
whole way home. And I was on a Saturday night, so I had to spend the whole day Sunday. I was like, I'm quitting my job. I'm never going back there. Like, what if he don't even like me? Oh my God, I done made this man kiss me. I was freaking out the whole day. And then Monday, when we got to work, he was like, we should go to lunch. And I was like, whew, okay.
So when I say stupid proof it, that's the thing. I didn't have to do anything. It just happened. Like, it was answered. Like, and it's not always like that. Sometimes you got to put in more work than that. But I also think the seeds were planted because we became friendly. We became friends. We became commuting partners, right? We just had so much in common that it was easy to continue on that road, right? Yeah. And if she hadn't kissed me that night, something else probably would have happened. We probably would have been at another job, and then you would end up at the job or something like that. Yeah, for sure.
Just the way our lives were going.
Yeah.
That's cool. I got a cosmic story about like meeting my son's mom. Like it was just destined. Mm-hmm. We had a summer class together. I had to drop the summer class. I was turning 21, and me and all my friends, after the last of us turned 21, we were going to Vegas. The teacher was like, "You're gonna miss the most important assignment, so you might as well drop." I dropped the class. I see her another day at my aunt's restaurant. Me and my friend are having a show. I was doing music, so we was having a show. I invited her to the show. She was like, all right. We didn't exchange numbers or nothing. Then the day of the show, we going to get clothes, and they walking right out of where we going into. Mm-hmm. Her and her sister. And I was like, oh, well, damn.
Yeah.
Then we exchanged numbers, and 9 years later, here we are. Well,
okay.
No, it's been way longer than 9 years. What was that, 16? No, he was born in 16. Yeah, like 12 years later.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got a blessing out of that.
Yeah. My little 9-year-old mini me
I didn't realize how much he looked like you until you posted that picture the other day.
Yeah, dead on me.
Yeah.
And then I look like both my mom and my dad. I used to think they were brother and sister. Like you could see my dad, and then if you see me with my mom, you can see my mom too. And he has my face, but then like you see my mom, my dad, and my uncles, and it's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good though.
So what's one of the biggest misconceptions of marriage?
I think that you'll get bored of being with the same person, like, because I think that you become so many different people. You
evolve.
change, you evolve over the years, and so the man that I met in '97 is not the man that I'm married to today.
100%.
And
This one drink more.
he cussed more, he drank more, talked more.
Talk about shit.
I don't know if you talk more trash, because you talked about your trash back then too.
Yeah, I did.
I think that one misconception is that you can grow bored. Because you change, or you should.
Yeah.
If you don't change, then
I think the other misconception is that it's easy, or you don't have to work for it.
oh yeah,
Part of a healthy marriage, relationship, similar, but marriage is different, is that you have to work at it. There are times in a 25-year marriage where you'd be, thinking, man, does this person really care for me in the same way that I thought they did? Am I doing something wrong? Am I enough? Like, you have that, and I would tell anybody, talk to your partner.
yeah,
Like, it is so easy to get all this bullshit in your head about your relationship and your feelings and all that. No, talk to your partner. Tell them how you feel, what you're thinking. Like, and as a man, it's not the easiest thing to do, because I tell anybody, nobody give a shit about a man's feelings. Nobody care about a man's feelings but a man, and that's his own self. Get you a partner that care about your feelings. But what I'm saying is, have that conversation. So communication is probably the biggest thing, because you never know when someone is feeling away, and you just need that confirmation. No, baby, I got you.
and what's interesting is, like, year 7 was tough.
Yeah.
Year 7 was probably one of our toughest years
100%.
as a married couple, and we both felt that way at the same time. So we were both like, I remember saying, I don't think he loved me. And he was like, yeah, she ain't in love with me. But we weren't saying that to each other.
Right.
And we were like getting further and further apart. Right. And, it took us to, have a come to Jesus moment to realize that we were talking to other people, but we weren't talking to each other.
Yeah.
And we were thinking the same thing at the same time, which was distancing us from each other. Yeah. And so it was true. Like, we were pulling away.
Right. Because we were talking to the wrong fucking people.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, other than myself, and sometimes more than me, she knows more about me than I do. Right? I know a lot about me, but something she'll see, but babe, I don't know about that, right? So this is my partner in crime, my partner in everything. And if something's not right, if we don't talk about it, that's a problem.
Yeah.
And if you go to somebody else who may or may not have your relationship's best interests at heart.
They may not even care.
They may not even care. And damn sure don't talk to somebody who ain't never been married.
Right.
Right? So we end up talking to each other and realize that we were having some of the same experiences. And I'll tell you, the background is we were both coaching football, cheer, basketball,
we were in a track program.
All of this. We're doing
I was
all
the
this
president. He was like, it was like we were doing everything for everybody. We were working hard in the community for lots of families.
And keeping full-time jobs and doing all that, and 5 kids.
Yeah.
And we were doing so much for everybody else that we were like, we both, in a lot of senses, what about me? Like, what about me? And eventually we just had the conversation.
Yeah. It took a while though.
It did, because we're mad. We're mad. We both were mad because
we went on a cruise that year trying to celebrate 7 years. We was not feeling each other.
Yeah, it was tough. And I will tell you, if someone were to ask me today, don't make it tough. Have the conversation, but also have the conversation with the attitude of reconciliation.
Yeah.
Right. You need to be talking about what we got to do to be together, not what we got to do to be apart.
Yeah.
Right. It's a partnership, and there's no hostile takeovers.
Yeah.
Like,
the cold thing is that we've kind of started to move like we were going to not be together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was a heart. Once we started to talk it out, that was kind of a heartbreaking revelation that we were both like kind of trying to set ourselves up to not be together.
Right. Right. Right.
God had other plans. So
God again. Yeah. God had other plans. Yeah. And I prayed on it. We prayed on it. Yeah. And look at God. Yeah. And so we make it a point to communicate. We communicate every day. Yeah. There is no not talking to each other. Yeah. If we don't, and one of the things that I would say is we don't argue. Mm-mm. Even during
we
that
never
time,
did.
Yeah, even during that time, we didn't argue. We have conversations. My kids have probably heard us yell at each other once or twice in 25 years.
But yell?
Yeah, not even yell.
Eliminate that question.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like the worst words I've ever uttered to my wife by calling her name is just Robin.
Yeah, when you call me Robin, I'm like, why is he calling me by my whole name?
Robin. I say Robin, but it's how I say it. But I've never called her anything else. Yeah. I've never called her out of her name. We did have a funny situation a few years back where she called me a nigga for the first time. I was like, wait, what? What? Where did that come from?
He was salty with me too. He was so
wait a minute. Like, I was irritated. Like, and mind you, we're with family and having a good time. And she,
drinking?
And we're drinking. We're
at the 20s party.
I know where we was at, but it was way out of context. And I was like,
what did I say again to you?
I don't remember. Like,
I was like, nigga, please.
Whatever it was.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever it was. I was like,
he was like, I don't be too many more niggas.
I was clutching pearls. So we, during that time, we made a point though, talk to each other. Yeah. To this day, if we have a situation and we're not getting along perfectly, ain't no sleep in the other room, ain't no I'm going to my mama's house, ain't none of that. It's you lay right here, we back to back. I guess we ain't we not spooning tonight. We back to back.
We'll talk about it later.
Because at the end of the day, nobody's fighting for me like she is. Yeah. Nobody. And people will make a claim that they are, but they're not. They're not. And I would say the key to a healthy marriage is having somebody that if the chips are down, they fighting back to back with you. Mm-hmm. Right? Like you're not gonna come and run up on us and we not both swinging. Yeah. Right? Nobody's running from the battle that we have. So I would say that.
Shout out to that.
My baby.
What do you guys think is the downfall with today's relationships?
Selfishness.
Yeah.
Caring what other people think. Yeah. You know, living your life on social media. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because people look at, and people do that to us too. Like we post our vacation. We was all on social media with our vacation, right?
It was. Somebody told us, bring y'all asses home.
I'm tired of y'all. But people look at that and they come up with their own conclusion on what your situation is, right? Mm-hmm. And they perfect. And we're far from perfect. We're perfect for each other, but we're far from perfect. Right. But people come up with their idea of what you got going on, and then they want that. Baby, you can't walk in these shoes. Let me tell you.
Right.
Yeah, they don't want the good and the bad. They want
just the good.
The Instagram version.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I say that all the time. Like we all, like a lot of women nowadays, they push this, men aren't men anymore. This generation of men and all this, but you not even willing to fight for what you think you even want.
Right.
Like you looking at the good part of Kevin Gates and Drika's situation.
Yeah.
Right.
You're not listening to Kevin Gates' other interview where he's telling, I'm fucking other women.
Exactly.
And this, that, and the third. Right. You don't hear that part no more.
Right.
You just see the good of what you want to see in the situation.
Yeah. They see like this big grand gesture. Like life ain't full of grand gestures. Like, it's full of all those little moments that happen in between the grand gestures.
Man,
shout out to LMA, the little things.
Everything's built out of little moments and little people say particles, but the reality is that to answer your question, who do people have to even look at for a solid relationship? Right. Who are you having that conversation with that are telling you fight for your marriage.
Yeah.
Fight for your relationship.
Yeah.
Fight for each other. Too often you don't hear leave that. Leave her. I wouldn't stick there for that. And then the other thing I look at is every relationship on television or on social media or whatever they're superficial. Not everyone. Not everyone.
They're doing it for
clicks and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's
Clickbait,
superficial.
for sure.
Yeah.
Like we grew up watching the Cosby Show. Say what you want about Bill Cosby, but the images on TV were families. We watched Family Ties, right? There's a mom and a dad who love their kids. That we saw that. I saw grandma and grandpa together, mom and dad together, and not to say that you need that in order to have a healthy relationship. But if the only thing you see are two people cussing each other out and arguing and all of that, like what is the role model? Like what we have too many people. Who did you mention? Kevin Gates and
Drika, his wife.
yeah. Too many people want to like looking at up to that, and nobody looking at Michelle and Barack.
Right. Right.
And he judging LeBron and
Right.
Yeah,
come
Kevin
on,
Gates.
come on, bro.
Right.
Come on. Like, but here's the thing: take LeBron, who's been with his wife since they were in high school, and however long that is, and then you take this guy who's whatever he's doing in his life, judging.
Yeah.
Like, mind your business. That's another thing.
Yeah.
One of the things that I see way too much is people not minding their own damn business.
For sure.
And other people too eager to share their own business so that people can mind their business.
You know what else I think about? Like, and this is, I think it's a woman thing. Maybe it could be a guy thing. You guys tell me. But women, it's never been me, but a lot of times you'll see women, especially young women, run in to call their mama or their sister or their best friend to run their man down, to talk about how he done got on her nerves or what their problems are. And you got to be really careful at who you share those things with, because like we said a few minutes ago, not everybody has your best interest at heart. Not everybody wants to fight for your marriage. Like you don't want to fight for your marriage. So I think that bringing, like you just said, bringing people into your relationship is another downfall of young people. Not just today, but like from every generation, because I've seen many women from many generations that like love to sit up and talk about their man to whoever they talking to, right? And then he come home, whether you walk in the house with that long phone cord back in the 80s and 90s, and now you're on your cell phone. And yes, I did. Right.
Yeah.
And oh girl, he home now. I'll call you back. Like
right. And the sad part is, I just think about my mom, and I can't. It's been too long ago for me to really know what my mom would be talking about. But I don't recall many or any of my mom's friends being married.
Yeah.
Like most of them were single women. So I would imagine if my mom's having a conversation about what's going on in her marriage, she's talking to someone who doesn't even have that experience to even say anything. Now, I don't know. I was a kid, but I'm just thinking about back to the people that I kind of remember from back when. I don't remember no husbands.
Interesting point of view. I think people in general run to people that are going to validate their thoughts in the moment. So I'm proud of my core friend group.
You know I'm laughing.
I know why you're laughing. I know exactly why you're laughing.
Shout out to my core friend group. They're going to tell me when I'm wrong.
Right. Right.
Whether it pisses me off or not. It's more than likely not, because I know they have my best interests at heart.
Right.
I don't always listen.
Yeah.
Like, most of my friends didn't like one particular woman. Even my son. But something in me was like, this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
Right.
And traumatized from that situation now, but, to say the least.
Right.
But people run to people that have that's gonna give them that validation, like they're in the right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So get you some real friends that are gonna tell you when you're wrong and not just when they're mad.
Absolutely.
Right. And not a bunch of yes men or yes women. Like people is gonna call you to the carpet.
Yeah.
Right. And say, bro, nah. Like I'm gonna give. We got a lot of people know we bowl at the bowling alley, right? I don't know if you said that here, but there's been situations at the bowling alley where I'd be like, hey, no, that's not you, bro. Like, I don't even know some of these youngsters like that, but I know them enough to tell them, get yourself out of that situation.
Yeah, we had that big situation a few weeks ago where there was drama at the bowling alley.
Yeah, but being able to have someone around you that's going not to little homie you, but little bro you. Right. You know what I mean?
The interesting thing is, so like you said, don't stay away from the yes people. My two best friends, neither one of them are married. However, they both come from marriage, right? Like they come from a 2-parent household where they had very strong father figures, and they had it was a traditional household, kind of like what Reggie and I had, and they would be people who, if I'm sharing with them, they would be like, nah,
or
girl.
oversharing,
They'd be like, nah, girl, or if Reggie would, they feel comfortable enough to say something to you, and so that's where, having people who have your best interests at heart is important.
Not people that just want more time to kick it with you.
Exactly.
Since y'all on the outs, you can come to this party.
Yeah, and if they if they felt like me and Reggie were on the outs, they'd be trying to figure out whatever they could do to get us back right. Like what? Y'all not right. Why? What do we do?
What can I do?
Yeah.
What can I do?
Yeah.
How can I help you, sister? Best friend, as they would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best friend.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you guys ascribe to gender roles? Has that been a thing?
Yeah, we do.
Yes and no, because my wife is a little bit of a tomboy. My wife drives a pickup truck.
Yes, I do.
My wife will.
Because I sure was expecting to see the stain pull up.
Yeah.
I just happened to look.
My wife will come out one day. She said, I'm going to the dump. and I like there's certain things she will do. I'm like, let me get out of the way and let her do it. She just, that's the way she operates, and I would be remiss to or I just would fail if I was trying to get in her way of doing the things that makes her tick.
So we do subscribe to gender roles mostly, but I was raised. My dad has 3 daughters. He had no sons, and so we were tinkering on cars and doing yard work, and he didn't raise prissy girls. Mm-hmm. Well, Melissa's kind of prissy, but me and LaToya are definitely not. Maybe Toya's prissy too.
Yeah, you just not. Yeah.
It's just me. But I cook.
Mm-hmm.
I clean. I want you to clean some more.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's conversation to be postponed to another day.
But this is where our roles are funny to me. So I'll say to him, okay, I do all the cooking, I do all the grocery shopping, I'm the budget person. And so then what I have to do is tell him what he needs to do. I'm like, hey, the lights is out in the laundry room, I need you to fix it. I need you to go and repair the blah, blah, blah. And so,
yeah,
because he don't think, he won't, it doesn't cross his mind to do those things.
My spidey sense be like, work, home, my seat, the game. Right. And I could step over everything in the way of getting to what I want to do.
I'm like, can you go hammer that thing down, please?
I don't mind doing it, but I will tell you, and this is another thing that I think is positive for marriage.
Important. It's very important, right?
Yeah, say it. Yeah. One of the things that we, early on in our relationship, she would ask me, she was like, you want to go with me to my mom's house? I'm like, no. It's she asked me that for weeks. She's like, why you don't want to go to my mom's house? I said, well, I'm watching the game. I'm doing whatever. I was like, do you want me to go to your mom's house? I said, yeah, I want you to go. I said, well, say that.
Right.
Tell me, babe, I want you to go with me to my mom's house. That's a whole different statement. And that was early on, so we didn't suffer through that for long.
You know what I think about when the year we got married, we went to Mexico, and I was so mad because I was like, we were just walking around Cabo San Lucas, and I was like, you want to get some Baskin Robbins? Because we walked past the Baskin Robbins. He was like, nah. And I was like, how dare he? Oh my God. I was so hurt that this man did not want Baskin Robbins because I wanted it. And he was like, nah. And we just kept on going. And I was like, so pissed. Real quiet. And he was like, what's wrong with you? I was like, well, I wanted some ice cream. He was like, well, why didn't you
just say that? Right.
Yeah.
I think that's where that masculinity and femininity aspects kick in, because women won't necessarily be direct with what they want.
Yeah.
We're looking for we're looking for direct.
I don't play that.
Yeah.
I don't play that.
Beating around the bush.
Yeah.
Hey, you wanna?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if there's things she's not
right.
if she's not confident about something she wants to do, maybe she's thinking about it. unsure, whatever. But if you want something from me, just tell me what you want. Like I hear women say stuff like, "Well, he should know." Why should he know? Why do I have to have why does my brain have to work in conjunction with your brain?
Yeah.
Like, we're independent beings. So
and if I want him to do it the way I want him to do it, I'm gonna have to tell him what I want him to do.
Well, there's
specifically.
Some things I'll be like, nah, I'm one of these. Nah, I ain't doing that.
And that really annoys my soul.
I ain't doing that. But if she says, babe, can you do this way or that? Fine. And I also will say, over time, those little things that you find bothersome or whatever, you get over it. You get over it. You just realize that this is what I need to do. It's not that big a deal. I will tell any man, and they may not like it, but I'm gonna say it. I am going to be happy with my wife 85, 90% of the time. 10% of the time, I'm going to, and so she can have her way most of the times. 10 to 15% of the time, I need to have something my way. And that's when I will say, no, we need to do it this way. Do I care what we eat tonight? I'm not arguing with you over what we're going to go eat or what we're going to watch on TV. Those things are superficial, but every now and then I'm going to be like, no, I want to do this, right? So and people say 50-50, relationships are not 50-50. One day it might be 50-50, one day it might be 60-40, and it will adjust. But if you are, as a grown man, and I really believe people don't care so much about men's feelings, but if you are a grown man and you're so concerned about how you feel about the meal today, well, grow up. You eating, ain't you? Like, I don't know. That's just me. And so I feel like if she wants to have this place to eat tonight, okay, I'm fine with it. I'm going to eat. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you pick your battles. Like, every battle is not the beginning of a war, and it shouldn't have to be. Yeah. Like, some things are just roll with the punches. Like, all right.
But also that comes from being in a relationship that the person's not going to take advantage of you or take you for granted. 100%. Because if you're just rolling with the punches and that person's just swinging and punching you, and you put yourself in a bad situation.
So I say that to also say, you got your 15% I need. You probably have 30-40% that you just want to give me, right? Because you know it's to benefit me, right? And then you have 35-40% for yourself, which there's the balance, right? She's going to do enough that's going to make me happy, and I'm going to do enough to make her happy. And then we have those outliers where one of us really just needs to stake our claim to that piece of happiness, whatever that may be.
Message.
The hell out of that, didn't I?
Definitely. You had brought up the 50-50 thing. I've also had that idea, like, sometimes it's not going to be 50-50. Sometimes it might be 100 to 0.
Right.
You got to give what you can give when you can give it. Yeah. 50% may be all you have to give at a certain point in time.
Absolutely.
And
message.
More people need to take heed to that.
Right.
We always equate 50-50 to finances.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It is 50-50 finances. Yours or mine, mine's is yours. We're married now.
Right.
Yes.
So
it's all in the pot.
Yeah, it's all in the pot.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. Given social media, it's a lot of women. I can't say most. I really can't say a lot, but what we are force fed are the women. I'm not doing 50-50. Men need to be providers, and like it's not. Being a provider isn't solely on financial.
Right.
Yeah,
sure.
Agreed. It's comfort. It's security. You know what I mean? Knowing
safety.
Safety. We grew up in households where our dads were the breadwinners.
Yep.
And, but our moms never, at least to my knowledge, never felt like they didn't have. You know what I mean? Like, It wasn't like they made such a big deal, like, he's bringing in all the money and she got to, like, go to him, like, please have a little crumb.
Right. I mean, I look at it as, what are you going to nurture? Mm-hmm. Right? You got a plant, you got a pot, you got soil, seeds, somebody has to water, Someone has to work on it. Someone may not always have the water at that point. Someone else may need to come in and take care of that. It's a balance.
You know what gets me now is that we hear a lot of is men asking women what they're bringing to the table. Mm-hmm. That kind of annoys me because I do want a provider, right? And you are a provider. Right. And that's, again, it's not all about finance. It's about safety, security, feeling like I'm protected and all of that. Like, it annoys me when I see these dudes that come across as like they not bringing nothing at all to the table.
Right.
Talking about
not even a table.
Right. Where is your table at? And they asking what what she's bringing to the table. Like, I could buy your table, I could build your table, I could do all of it, right? But like, why are you asking me that? Like,
you know what we call those? Me and my friend group, the post Kevin Samuels niggas.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
It was niggas that felt like they found some game after they seen him.
Stop
and
playing
it was
with
like,
me. Yeah.
if you got it, you already knew some of those ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you knew better than to tell a woman those ideas.
Right.
So, like, I brought this up before, but I've ran into women. I talk to a lot of people, but women I was talking to this guy. He's like, "Oh, you're gonna die alone because you don't do this, that, and the third." And it's like, what you're saying is, because you don't want me, you're gonna die alone. You don't want somebody like me that doesn't have it all.
Right.
But I'm also a high value man. High value men don't think and act like that.
Right.
And they don't
high value man
understand
ain't gonna come to you. I'm bringing this to the table. What you bringing? He just
Right.
He just gonna be there, and the table is gonna be set, and the woman is gonna
fulfill her role.
Yes.
Not a gender role,
Yes.
but her role in the situation
Exactly.
to benefit him, to benefit her, to benefit the family.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
We had, when I was growing up, we had a lot of men who would say stuff like, "I got to get myself together before I can get married or do this or do that," and forget the one critical thing about marriage is it's a partnership.
And you're building together.
Like you are building together. Yeah. It's if you really go out there and build on your own, what do you need a marriage for?
Yeah. I've heard so many men specifically say, "I gotta have a house before I get married." I'm like, why? How you gonna do that?
Dudes have that.
Why would she want to just come into your house? Let's do this together.
Yeah.
Right.
I get that aspect. I've struggled with that idea too. Like, I want to be somewhat established before I even entertain that. Financially, for sure.
Yeah.
I want to be a bit more secure financially before I even engage in the process to building something with somebody else.
You know, the funny thing about that is, let's say you needed 100 of something, and you have 50, and you meet someone, and they have 50, and they want the same 100 you want. When you go and you push that aside, you're missing something. You're missing something you don't need to miss. Like, when you get someone that's engaged in the same level of desire that you're in, and this is where the 50-50 can matter. I need 100 of these. Mm-hmm. I only have 50. This person that looks good, talks good, smells good, all of that, they have the other 50. But nope, I can't be with this person because I need to get my own other 50.
Message.
Think of what you're saying. Like,
Poetry, right?
Think of what you're saying. And so, with Robin and I, we got together.
We ain't had nothing.
We had nothing. And whatever we've gotten, whatever we've gotten, we've built together.
Absolutely.
You know, sometimes she has more than me. Sometimes I have more than her. But we got this gumbo going, right? We throwing all the stuff in there, all the seasons in there. We're bringing it together. Like, if you, I'm big on analogies. But
so you're a metaphor guy.
I am. But if you making gumbo and all you got is shrimp, you just got shrimp.
Shrimp water.
Yeah, you need somebody else to come and bring it. And I think people miss out on looking for something, trying to get something on their own that they can get easier with a little help.
Yeah.
And that goes in a lot of aspects of life, not even just relationships. Like, people are looking to get further in whatever they're looking to get further in, and they gotta do it on my own.
Yeah, people
like,
need people. That's what they need to understand. Like,
I tell
we need
people that
people
all the time. It's like one of my going phrases on here. We need each other.
Yeah,
be more
for sure.
kind to each other. Like,
Yeah.
be more accepting to the help.
Well, imagine your podcast and you just sitting here talking about marriage
By
to
myself.
yourself.
Exactly.
Well, I think.
Well, and furthermore, you'll be sitting there with somebody on the other end. What size dress do you wear? How much do you weigh?
How tall are you?
How tall are you?
How many kids do you have?
Oh goodness!
Yeah,
Oh goodness!
Boy, you built like Emmett Smith.
Right.
What?
Right.
Like,
Ooh, you know, he would annoy me.
And who says that? Like, if
He
you
thought it
know
was
better,
funny.
you ain't saying that
Yeah.
to no woman.
Yeah.
If you a real man.
It's just like rude.
He ain't gonna
Yeah.
say it. I mean, unless you Shannon, you might know what people saying nowadays. And the comfort of their own homes or whatever. You never know.
Shout out to them. So, my end all question, revised for couples, obviously. What's one truth you guys had a hard time accepting about each other? I meant to bring it up earlier, so we didn't have to do the thinking process. But
I don't know. I'm not sure how you define truth, but one thing that I struggle with, and this is people who know me who see this, they're going to be like, wait, what? Is I struggled with feeling like I was enough. Like, whatever bravado I have, when it comes to her, I always want to be more than enough. Like, and that is like, every now and then I'm like looking at myself, are you doing enough? Like, I don't know. That's the one thing that she doesn't know. It's probably my first time ever saying that out loud. Mm-hmm. That's kind of crazy. But to just my desire to be enough at all times, right? That's my own personal truth, I guess. Mm-hmm. A truth about her though, she don't take no shit.
I think people don't think that about me.
Man,
I'm pretty
like,
quiet.
my wife is not demure. She may be mindful, but she's not demure at all. Like, my wife will, man, she's something else. That's why I love her so much. She's something else.
yeah, I only seen her like that when she's trying to get you out the bowling alley.
Right. Go to the door and stand there with her bag, waiting. All right, y'all, I gotta go.
I had to pull you a couple times. Reg.
Yeah. Well, I can't see her when she over there.
I know. Reg.
I went to the car on some occasions, and he's like, "Don't do that. Don't go out. Don't leave the bowling alley and go to the car."
Because I forget.
Right.
He might forget that. Then I'm real mad. I'm sitting in the car.
It's my car today.
So did you have one?
Yeah. So for me, I tend to suffer from imposter syndrome, and so it's kind of like you, just not ever really feeling adequate, and so feeling pretty enough or feeling smart enough or feeling like I have and I don't fall into or subscribe to what social media says is the perfect woman, but I'm not the size I was when we met, right? And so what I would find myself doing over the years is like, could he love this? You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm like so many pounds heavier than I was back then. And so the truth that I would struggle with over time is him, like, he loves me. Like, he really does. And he shows it and he tells me. But then when I'm in those moments of insecurity by myself, I'm like, does he though? Like, could he really love this? Like, I suffered from acne, in my 20s and 30s, and like, could he really? Does he really like this? Like, and so yeah, just insecurity, I guess.
Right.
What it is.
Well, look at my watch.
My wife.
Right. I mean, and so yeah, we. But I think that's the beauty of like marriage in and of itself, is like always striving to be the best partner you can be, right? Always look like if whatever. I don't dress shabby. right? Partly because of me, but partly because I always want to represent her well, right? When I go somewhere and someone sees her husband smells nice, dressed nice,
Yeah, 'cause
whatever.
you want me to be out there acting a fool. That's
Right,
the problem.
That too.
Anyways, one thing that I would say also for both of us is, so like Richie comes from a small family with him and his mom and his dad and his brother.
Right.
And I mean, you have
I have
a
some
lot of cousins and stuff, but like
it's really the four of us.
I come from a huge family. And, and so I think one of the struggles that we've had is me feeling like, you know, I need more than that small.
Right.
And he's feeling more like, ooh, it's so big over here. And, you know, she has so many other people other than me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so that's definitely something that we...
Yeah. I think, though...
Not anymore, not for many years, but we definitely struggle with that. Because my family is big and overwhelming.
100%. And my family, I love them, but when we met, man... I told her, I said, my family...
Oh, boy. Don't do your family
I'm not going to do them like that. Okay. I'm not going to do them like that. But I was like, man, my family different.
He did.
Like, I was like, you won't have an experience till you meet my family. And she, sure enough, I was like, hey, I love them, but we different. I think, too, though, we grew... Like, part of the storyline is growing to understand where you both sit in life. Mm-hmm. Like, we're both on a throne in our relationship, but what we bring to the throne is different. There were 15 years ago, however long ago it was, they took a picture. It was like 40 cousins in the picture. If I take a picture, we might get 40 relatives, right? But they had like 40 cousins in the picture, and she had to realize, and this is the interesting thing, because my wife is a pleaser. She's an empath, so she can feel when something's wrong with someone, and she kind of takes that on. And so she's always trying to make sure I'm okay. Babe, do you need anything? Do you want anything? Can I get you something? That sort of thing. And I'm cool in my spot with my remote. She'll come down, if she's not doing anything, she'll come down 2 or 3 times while I'm sitting there watching the game. She may come up and just put a drink on my table, right? That's her personality. But she also has her friends. She goes and hang out and do all that stuff. I'd be like, cool. Put my feet up. Like, we're good. But we had to get to that point where we realized we don't have to entertain each other.
Yeah.
Right? You know, we are each other's best friends. But you think of your best friends. You don't entertain each other all day long.
Right.
Right? You entertain when it's time to be entertained. But that's not. And so we have a healthy balance of our needs, and our needs are not the same. Yeah. Right? She does need that socialization. I can go in my bubble. In my bubble, I'm fine in it. Right?
Well, you know, it's interesting, and I know you're wrapping this up, but exteriorly, he seems like the more social person than I am.
Yeah.
But in reality, I'm more social than
Way
he
more.
is.
Way more. Like, I would say, when we're at the bowling alley, we're there talking about bowling and sports. I won't say an expert, but I know I'm knowledgeable of those things. We want to talk about that? Got you. Want to get loud and boisterous about bowling and sports? On it. A little bit of politics? On it. You want to talk about something else? I'm good. Like, if you notice that those things, when it comes to like just chilling, kicking it, sitting up,
Not your jam.
Not my jam. Like I can, in social settings like this, just talking about life and things, I'm on it. Speak in front of crowds, no matter how big or how small, on it. Singing, whatever I do, I'm able to do it. But when it comes to like, I'm what they call me,
extroverted introvert.
There it is.
Yeah.
There it is. And people wouldn't know that. If you see me anywhere, you never know it. But if you see like Robin, oh, we're having this thing and we're these people are coming over and I invited these people and I'd be like, damn,
like entertaining and shit.
Yeah, man. Like, funny, I know you were wrapping up, but one funny thing happened when we were younger. One of her friends had a husband, and she wanted to go hang out with her friends. She was like, and you can hang out with her husband. He likes sports. You like sports. I was like, don't you ever set up a play date for me. Don't ever do that. We did not.
Y'all did not jam. Y'all didn't vibe at all.
Like, bro, he was
older than us and
way older. It was weird.
Play date.
Yeah, play date. I was like, no, no, thank you. You go to your friend's house. I'll be fine.
Well, shout out to y'all.
Thank you.
Congratulations on year 25 again. Looks like we touched on communication, like healthy communication, under letting each other know what needs need to be met.
Man.
Setting boundaries and having your own shit to do, for sure.
Yep.
And creating just a safe space at home with one another. I appreciate you guys because I definitely learned a lot, just based on the 2 different settings I've been in with the younger couple and now with you guys. After 25 years, definitely learned a lot and got a lot to think about myself. So I appreciate y'all for that. I gotta look at y'all as parent, auntie, and uncles.
Thank you for having us.
So of course, but as you know, this is the Hollathetruth podcast, giving you the truth for the future, the present, and the past. But I gotta ask, can you handle it?